Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. What a wonderful day it is. If you'd like to get in touch with me, email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Mobile is in the midst of a municipal election. Voting is August 22. 20 days from now. And Sam Jones, the former mayor, he is one of 4 candidates for mayor. You've got the incumbent, Standy Simpson. You have former Mayor Sam Jones, and then you have 2 other people, whoever they might be. I'll learn their names eventually in the next 3 weeks. But former Mayor Sam Jones got an endorsement. I think this was at a rally last night for the bus service. AL.com reports, John Sharp of AL.com reports that 75 members of the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 770, they are endorsing Sam Jones. The people that work for the WAVE transit system, 75 members endorsing Sam Jones. Let's see, here is a quote from Sam Jones about the bus system in Mobile. Quote, any metropolitan area needs an effective transit system. We realize there is a need for public transportation and encourage people to use the system. The problem is we don't have enough emphasis on it. He says that it needs to be marketed better. So the question I've got, now I know it's needed that people do use it for going to doctor's appointments, going to jobs, going to take care of the business of living, that it is a need, the public transportation. But how do you market that? How do you get people that aren't already riding the bus to want to ride it? Isn't it more about needing rather than wanting to ride the bus? Is there any way you could sell the idea of riding the bus when you don't need to ride the bus? I'm thinking that most of the people that use the bus, they need it. It's not because they want to leave their vehicle in the garage and enjoy the camaraderie, the fun and the interaction of the bus. It's because they need it. So I don't know how you market. How do you market buses to make more people ride it? I don't know that you can. Speaking of transportation, let's listen briefly to traffic and then weather together.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
It's a really quiet start to the traffic morning all around the region this morning. We just aren't seeing much in terms of big interstate problems. I-10 for those of you crossing the Bayway to and through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway and the Bankhead, and I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw to the I-10. You're still in good shape. The sun's coming up over a very quiet and uneventful traffic picture through the region, at least for the time being. And with Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope. But you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. We're going to top out at 90 degrees today. We will have mostly sunny skies, but the muggy air making a comeback today. So it is going to feel a little bit more sticky outside. A 20% chance of a shower, 40% chance of rain overnight, and a 70% chance by Thursday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Now, and by the way, coming up in less than 10 minutes, a new edition of Dear Ariel. As we compare Ariel to Dear Abby, that's coming up in about 10 minutes. I was thinking though about this claim from former Mayor Sam Jones that Mobile needs to market, that the bus service needs to be marketed better. And I know that in previous years they have held events in downtown Mobile called Transit Awareness Day, where people they wanted to make the public aware of mass transit, and they even had a bus for you to look at in case you'd never seen a bus. Now I'm not making that up. But how on earth could you market buses and have people ride them in greater numbers? The answer is I don't think you can. The only people who ride the bus are probably the ones that need to ride the bus. I don't think a marketing, like an ad in the paper or a radio commercial with a jingle, a special Ride the Bus song, I just don't know that that is going to cause people to ride the bus that don't really need to ride the bus. And people that don't have transportation are probably very aware of what their options are. So marketing the bus, I don't know how on earth you could do that. What now? Ariel, join me here just briefly, as we will have Ariel in the next segment for the Dear Ariel comparison. But so you know that there are buses,
yeah,
just like me. Is there anything that we could do to the bus itself that would make you want to ride it instead of use your own car?
You know what? Honestly, I've always been a little bit curious about riding the wave, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to get on the wrong bus and end up somewhere I can't get back from. So that's the only reason why I've never done it.
But would you, for example, if they had like refreshments?
Yeah.
If they offered...
Or maybe if it was more like a trolley system, like on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I'd do it. Yeah.
So it would be, if it were a trolley, you'd ride a trolley.
Absolutely.
But you can't air condition a trolley.
It doesn't matter. You don't need one. It's a trolley. It's fun. And they have them in San Francisco.
But nothing else?
Or make it like one of those monorails. Build a bridge, put it up in the sky.
What about a conventional bus, but it's got like a keg on it?
No. Maybe a subway. I'd ride a subway.
Okay. What do you mean? You'd ride a subway train?
Yeah.
But nothing, we can't do anything in the bus to actually make the bus more appealing?
No, not at all.
All
you
right.
can make it something else, and then I'm appealed.
All right, well, thank you, Ariel. That was my focus group. Coming up in the next segment, another edition of Dear Ariel. But how could you market buses?
Do you have high cholesterol? Are you unable to tolerate high doses of statin medication? You may be eligible for a clinical research study being conducted to test the safety and effectiveness of an investigational medication that may help to lower cholesterol levels in people who are unable to tolerate high doses of statin medication. To qualify, you must be at least 18 years of age, have high cholesterol, be taking a statin medication that is low dose or less than low dose, including if you are unable to tolerate.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show. We're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing about it's something. Well, let me hear this.
To find out more about this high cholesterol clinical
Cholesterol. You know, it's too late for me. I don't really care to pay attention to my cholesterol. All right, let's see. Let me make sure I've got the Dear Ariel ready. Okay, and I think we're going to have a couple of letters for Ariel today. But by the way, I'm not anti-bus, and I do believe in mass transit. I think I'm with Ariel that it might be more appealing. I don't know that there's any way we can get more people to use a bus in Mobile, Alabama, because the people that need it are already riding it. Now, if we had a different form of mass transit that could take people from one side of the bay to the other, and I know we have buses that go back and forth from the Eastern Shore to Mobile, but if we had something, Ariel mentioned a monorail. If there were a way to travel on something like a train from one side of the bay to the other, that would be pretty awesome, to use young person's lingo. That would be pretty good. But not going to happen. All that's also expensive. We might as well be talking about little magical fairies picking us up and carrying us. I mean, everything costs money, and government doesn't have any. So, next subject. We'll come back to public transit later, because when people are finally awake, I do want to give an impassioned, it's been a while since I've talked as an advocate for blimps. And I want to get back into my pro-blimp status on the air. I'm probably the only blimp advocate on radio in the country, and I want to get back into that. And that would be fun, wouldn't it? To go get on a ladder and climb up into the blimp, and then go to the mall, go to the flea market, and climb down the ladder, and there you are at the flea market. All right, let's see. Back on the radio in just a moment. Let me get ready for the Dear Ariel segment. Let's see. All right, and now let me preview the letters. All right, this is good, and this is good. All right, we have two good letters for Ariel, for Dear Ariel. All right, stand by. Back on the radio after we listen to Kelly Foster's very upbeat and cheerful weather forecast.
Expected to wrap up by the early part of next year. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
The midweek muggy air is making a comeback now that we've reached midweek. We're going to top out today in the 90s, but all that warm Gulf air is going to be surging inland. So we do have about a 20% chance of a shower today, 40% tonight. For your Thursday, a 70% chance of wet weather, and that will push our temperatures down into the mid-80s. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. We have News headlines coming up from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. In about 10 minutes before we get there, time for a new edition of Dear Ariel. This is where we take the letters from Dear Abby and put them to Ariel so we can get a comparison between the young and vigorous Ariel and the elderly Abby. Ariel, are you ready for your letters?
Yeah, I think I can.
These are from today's Press Register.
Okay.
Dear Ariel, I'm a middle-aged single woman. My 76-year-old father lives with me. We get along well, and the arrangement works fine, except for one problem. My 76-year-old father never washes his hands after going to the bathroom. To make matters worse, he does most of the cooking. And he often goes right from the bathroom straight into the kitchen. I know that if I comment on his lack of hygiene, he will get angry and defensive. How do I get him to be sanitary at his age of 76? And that letter is from Hungry No More.
Girl, sometimes there are things that you just have to bite the bullet and do. He's just going to have to be angry with you because that is just flat out nasty. Daddy, could you please wash your hands after you use the bathroom? He's probably going to lie and be like, I did. No, you didn't, because I didn't hear the water run. If you're going to cook food after you use the bathroom, you're going to have to wash your hands in this house. Just saying.
Okay, Ariel and Abby are on the same page here. This is what Abby said. I don't blame you for having lost your appetite after reading your letter. Mine is gone too. You say your father lives with you and not the reverse. In your home, you get to make the rules. If this makes your father defensive and angry, so be it. There's a reason employees of restaurants are required to wash their hands after using the bathroom. It's to prevent the spread of disease. It may mean watching your father like a hawk.
That's too far.
But you will have to enforce this, and if at all possible, do the cooking yourself.
Right.
All right, here's letter number 2.
Okay.
Dear Ariel, I like this girl, Jane, who I work with, that I wouldn't mind dating. The problem is her mother also works at our business and has sent out signals that she likes me too. So how do I get Jane without breaking her mother's heart or creating waves at work for me? And that is from Trouble in Albany, New York.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you've picked up on the fact that mommy wants you, but not so much Jane wants you, you might want to leave both of them alone. But at the end of the day, like, why would you date somebody's mother that has a daughter the same age as you? Ew. I think her mom would get it. You're not interested. Okay? Just do your thing, homie. Go get the girl that you want. Ignore the woman that you don't. Dudes do it all the time. It's that simple.
Abby's answer is a little different.
Of course it is.
Abby says workplace romances are strongly discouraged because if they end, and most do, it could be a recipe for disaster.
Oh, girl, please.
Your situation sounds like double trouble. If I were you, I'd find a job where there is less electricity in the air.
This man does not need a new job, Abby girl. He just needs a better tactic of, picking up women. Not to mention how many people actually date at work. Right.
It's hard. Well, I've been here for almost 20 years, so yeah. I don't know what it's like out in the real world.
I mean, I've dated coworkers before, and I broke up with them, and they're dead to me. So, there's absolutely nothing terrible that happens afterwards.
Okay, Ariel, thank you. A new edition of Dear Ariel. No offense to Abby, I'd rather read Ariel's column. The topic of washing the hands after going to the restroom, this has come up. Now, this lady that wrote that letter knows that her 76-year-old father's not washing his hands. they are living in the same home. But in the workplace, if you notice it, if you work somewhere that has a communal restroom, men's and women's, where there are more than one person in the restroom at the same time, and you notice that your coworker is not washing their hands. In previous generations, that would be a terrible red flag. But in modern America, they may have some kind of germ thing at their desk, like Purell. That stuff is all over the place. So they may just be using chemicals at their desk. So be careful if you're trying to pass judgment on the non-hand washer. Now, I do agree that hand washing is preferred, but you never know nowadays if somebody is using something at the desk. Just a public service there, trying to avoid any kind of workplace disagreements. News headlines coming up from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show.
Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock futures are indicating a higher Wall Street open this morning. S&P futures up a point, NASDAQ futures up 44, Dow futures are up 35. Shares of Apple are higher in pre-market trading after the company's revenue forecast highlighted resilient demand for the iPhone. Apple even sold 15% more iPads in the latest quarter, a product that seemed out of fashion not that long ago. But every product category grew, driven by services such as the App Store. Walmart has joined a new program that rates companies on their chemical use, putting fresh pressure on the consumer products industry to police its ingredients. The giant retailer is joining the Chemical Footprint Project, which seeks to help companies root out dangerous substances from their products. And AMC Entertainment posts second quarter results that fell short of estimates. The company says it will cut jobs because of flagging box office sales. The chain is controlled by the Chinese company Dalian Wanda. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Alabama Orthopedic Clinic is proud to welcome a new team member, Dr. Grant Zarzer, joint replacement surgeon. New patients are being accepted. Call 251-410-3600 or visit online at alortho.com.
A lot has changed since Sandy Stimson became mayor.
Mayor Stimson made the tough choices, and now big things are starting to happen here in Mobile.
Thanks to Sandy, Mobile is on solid financial footing.
We have new police cars, fire trucks, roads, and parks.
Businesses are moving here.
And we have cruise ships back in port.
The momentum is real. Let's not stop now.
Re-elect Sandy Stimson for mayor.
Paid for by Sandy Stimson for mayor. P.O. Box 70106, Mobile, Alabama 36670.
Hey, for security, alarm systems, cameras, monitoring, and more, call TSI Alarms and Audio. Call 251-662-0500 or online at thetsigroup.com. TSI Alarms and Audio.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
It remains a pretty quiet drive all around the region this morning. We don't have any big accidents or breakdowns on the board or heavy interstate delays as of yet. Just a bit more volume hitting the roadway, particularly for those of you who are coming across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel. The Causeway and the Bankhead all remain in good shape as well, just light volume throughout the region. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
One more pretty day along the Gulf Coast before the rain moves in. Good Wednesday to you, everybody. We'll top out at 90 today. Only a 20% chance of a shower. 40% tonight. Will drop into the 70s. And for your Thursday and Friday, a 70% chance of rain. So get the umbrella ready. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Amazon is building in Mobile and hiring nationwide and fast. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio News Update. Amazon officials say their goal is to hire 50,000 people and do it by tomorrow night. The online shopping giant is trying to staff 13 fulfillment centers around the United States, including its brand new sortation center being built here in Mobile County. The center in Theodore expected to open in October. Right now, several full-time positions are available, and officials tell us more part-time positions will be open in the next couple of months. Anger from Mobile's DA after word Jerry Harrison will be released on parole. Harrison was sentenced to life in prison in 2014 after his 6th felony conviction, mostly on marijuana trafficking. But because his criminal past is considered nonviolent, he's serving just a fraction of his sentence. DA Ashley Rich is calling the release ridiculous. Harrison is set to be released from Holman Prison in Atmore on Monday. Tomorrow, Mobile police take the national spotlight in an episode of The First 48 on A&E's network. The episode is titled Murder in Mobile, and a TV Guide summary of the episode says it follows the investigation into the death of a man gunned down on a Mobile sidewalk. Crews have been in the port city for more than a year following homicide detectives. The popular show highlights different police departments across the country and now Mobile. News breaks while you sleep, so when you wake, we'll catch you up on what's happening along the Gulf Coast and around the world every weekday morning on Local 15 Today. We start at 5 a.m. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The U.S. has successfully launched an unarmed ballistic missile this coming a week after the latest launch by North Korea, which got this warning from the U.S.
And we're trying to convey to the North Koreans, we are not your enemy. We're not your threat, but you are presenting an unacceptable threat to us.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson yesterday also calling on China to help influence North Korea.
Defense officials say the test from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California was already planned, but it comes amid deepening concerns over North Korea's nuclear ambition. North Korea conducted a second successful long-range test of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Leading analysts believe the rogue nation could be capable of striking the continental U.S.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland and 2 deputies recovering after being shot in Central California after a dispute on a marijuana farm. The suspect is dead. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Hey, Facebook, we're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing from our sponsors for the radio. Just want to say hello to you, the Facebook viewer. Thank you for watching on Facebook. It is appreciated. I was looking at different news items, which I'm forced to do. And it is, yes, it is a chore, not always wanting to look. But looking at various news items, I saw that the groundbreaking has now been set for this big apartment thing that's going to be on Water Street, and the groundbreaking is August 16. Let's see, it's 2017. I think they're planning for the apartments to be open by 2019. I'm very intrigued by what is going to happen with downtown Mobile suddenly adding all these people living. There are already a lot of people that want to live in downtown Mobile. Occupancy is pretty high. For anytime something comes vacant down there, people rush in because they all want to live with the ambiance of downtown Mobile. But to add all these, you've got the apartments that are going to be on Water Street. Then you're going to have that old bank building that's going to be renovated. You're going to have a lot more people living down there. It's really going to change the character of downtown. And what they're going to need a Dollar General, or they're going to need a Dollar General, maybe a big box. I don't know that it would support another grocery store, but some big box drugstore. You know, the places where you have to pay like $6 for a bag of chips, something like that. But it's really going to be something to see this going on in downtown. So groundbreaking August 16 for all of that. See, we're back on the radio.
Morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. And he is going to talk to us about something. Oh, here's what we'll talk to Joe Gomez about. What the Congress is going to concentrate on after this mess with Obamacare. And the Speaker of the House said something about the wall. Do you remember the wall? So we'll get into that in about 15 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. Now, I've been talking this morning about how Sam Jones, the former mayor, has been endorsed by a transit union, the people that operate the Wave buses in Mobile. And Sam Jones says we need to market the buses better. Now, and I was just thinking, to me, buses are used by people that need them. I don't know how you could market buses and make people use them that don't need to use them. Now, I've got an email about marketing the buses from somebody in the marketing business. Subject line on the email is marketing buses. Email reads, getting people to change their behaviors is the hardest thing in advertising. I would take all the money for marketing and not spend it on media and graphics. Use all the money that was for graphics, concepts, and media and use it to make the buses for free for as long as the marketing money would pay for the free riding. You have to get people to test drive the buses, get people to go for free, and then when the fares come back, you hope to keep a percentage of the people that were new. You would have to use some money for PR and media relations and social to promote the free rides. The buses and service have better be ready to impress the new people in those free weeks. And that email from Johnny Gwynn of johnnygwynn.com. That is an outstanding idea, actually. If in the day, one day you would want to do it would be the day after Thanksgiving, which a lot of people are off. They're not going to be using the bus to go to work, but they might use the bus to go to all the shopping. Right? So local business might like that idea. I don't know if you, I guess you suggested weeks. I guess you'd have to pick a week and say this week only, try it for free. Johnny Gwynn, thank you for that idea. Traffic and weather together, and then more.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
It remains a pretty quiet drive all around the region this morning. We don't have any big accidents or breakdowns on the board or heavy interstate delays as of yet. Just a bit more volume hitting the roadway, particularly for those of you who are coming across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel. The Causeway and the Bankhead all remain in good shape as well, just light volume throughout the region. With time saver traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the TJ Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale, new and pre-owned. RVsunlimited.com.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. We're going to top out at 90 degrees today. We will have mostly sunny skies, but the muggy air making a comeback today. So it is going to feel a little bit more sticky outside. A 20% chance of a shower, 40% chance of rain overnight, and a 70% chance by Thursday. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeart Radio station.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up, Joe Gomez in about 10 minutes to talk about what Congress is going to concentrate on, since they can't seem to do anything about health care. Talking about Sam Jones saying that the buses in one of, I guess this is a campaign issue, that buses need to be marketed better. One brief email from Johnny Gwynn. Subject line on the email is bus marketing. Email reads, one last thing, get the rights to Weird Al Yankovic's Another One Rides the Bus song. And have locals sing the chorus every day on radio, TV, and social media. Johnny Gwynn of JohnnyGwynn.com. All right, I don't know that I'm in on that. Couldn't you, if you sing the song, The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, wouldn't that be royalty free and you wouldn't have to get the rights? Let's see, another email on this topic. This has to do with the way that the WAVE workers have endorsed Sam Jones. Subject line is WAVE endorsement. Email reads, good morning, Henry. I wonder how much pumping up of Sam Jones is going to be happening on those buses by the drivers that are on the clock. Those folks are pretty much out on their own and unsupervised. As long as they are on time and driving safely, I'm guessing all is well with the supervisors. Just curious. And that email from the Common Man. Common Man, are you suggesting that the bus drivers might be openly advocating for their candidate so that when people get on the bus, they're telling them to vote Sam Jones? Is that what no way to, I have no idea if anything like that would ever happen. Although it might be fun in the next 3 weeks to ride the bus and find out. See if there are any pamphlets, any campaign literature there. Common Man, thank you for your email. It's too bad that we can't really have more. See, public transportation just costs a lot of money. And governments don't seem to have any money. But it would be wonderful. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have something like a municipal blimp? We'd want to ride that. If you just had the bus as a blimp, we would ride that. Oh, we would love to ride that. I would love to be able to go catch a blimp and ride it to the flea market. What fun that would be. But I know no way that's going to happen because we cannot afford, probably can't afford the buses we've got, let alone my dream of blimp travel. Or what about the old days of steamboats on the bay? Joe Gomez is next. What will Congress do? Well, let me rephrase that. Is there anything Congress can do about anything? That's next on the Uncle Henry Show.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be built.
Hey, Facebook. Hey, good morning to Bama Big Man Tuskers, Nita Jeffers of Baymanet, Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com, Graham Green of SmartHomeAmerica.org. Good morning to you all. Thank you for watching the Uncle Henry Show. Let's see. I'm looking at news items that I don't know what they're about. Well, we're going to be back on the radio with Joe Gomez here in about 4 minutes. Let me look here. Someone is suing Kim Kardashian for $100 million. Let's find out together why. That's, by the way, $100 million. That's a lot. Let's find out what's worth $100 million to this man in San Diego.
The man claims Kardashian's Kim's a Princess company is ripping off his design for a cell phone case that helps people take better selfies. The Snap Light has a light that goes around the rim of the cell phone case, and so does Kim's a Princess Lumi case. The San Diego man claims that he and his partners came up with the idea first and have the proper patent paperwork filed, and feel that Kardashian's company is now trying to bully them out of the market. I'm Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
All right, so Kim Kardashian, the money, just what a machine. The Kardashians, they can't get out of bed without making money. I guess there's something to be admired in that. The money-making aspect. I never knew that she had cell phone cases that help you take a better selfie. All right, let's see what else. All right, earlier we were talking, Ariel wanted to ride trolleys or trains or take a subway. She doesn't want to ride the bus. She wants other more fun ways to travel. And here's a story about the subways. A 9-year-old Brooklyn girl, 9 years old, reunited with her family after a subway separation incident.
It began Tuesday afternoon when Clara Alston's two brothers, 11 and 12, walked her to a Brownsville subway station where she was supposed to meet her uncle. The boys left her there, and when the uncle didn't show up, Clara hopped one train, then another, ending up on a playground on Manhattan's Upper East Side.
She was playing with the kids in the sand. There was a bunch of kids here playing.
That mom and others contacted police, ending Clara's hours-long odyssey and her family's fears. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, that's now the brothers. What do you think the brothers just wanted to get rid of the sister? All right, well, that shows you how the subway. There's always two sides. There's the fun of the subway. By the way, when I went on the New York subways, the other people on the subway, they didn't bother me, but some of the New Yorkers looked at me as if I were an insect. They did look at me as if I were an insect. And I looked at them wondering, what do you do to be able to afford to live here? That's all I really cared about. I was curious about what did these New Yorkers do that they could afford to live where they lived. I didn't get lost and end up on a playground, though. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio. We're still waiting for Joe Gomez. Still waiting for Joe Gomez.
week. We're going to top out today in the 90s, but all that warm Gulf air is going to be surging inland. So we do have about a 20% chance of a shower today, 40% tonight. For your Thursday, a 70% chance of wet weather, and that will push our temperatures down into the mid-80s. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Your home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes from Fox and from Local 15. Meanwhile, I want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show NBC News Radio correspondent Joe Gomez. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
So Congress, Joe Gomez, they really couldn't do anything with Obamacare. Just a big public spectacle, big public failure on that. So is there anything, what can they do? Is there anything they think they can do?
Well, I know they've been talking about, maybe having some kind of bipartisan temporary fix for Obamacare, and it looks like that's going to be already underway. You have some Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and also in the House working together to create some kind of a, Band-Aid for Obamacare so that premiums don't just skyrocket and the whole marketplace doesn't destabilize. But in addition to that, it sounds like House Speaker Paul Ryan really kind of putting the spotlight on building the wall. And he released a tweet yesterday which basically said it's time for the wall. And attached to the tweet was a link to a video which shows Paul Ryan on horseback riding along the Texas-Mexico border.
By the way, Joe Gomez, he covered the border for many, many years, right? So did you ever ride horseback as you were covering the border of the country?
Not once.
Okay.
No, I never had the opportunity to do that. I mean, it's interesting because in this video that Paul Ryan has up, I've actually gone to the same place. That same place, I know exactly where he's at, which is kind of close to McAllen, where he's at, and he's meeting with probably the same Border Patrol people too. I mean, because you could see him, so he's riding on a horseback, and then he gets on this like pontoon boat or something, and it's like this Coast Guard patrol boat that they use, and they're going along the river. And then they're flying in a helicopter, and they're looking. He's looking intently at the border there. I've done all of that. All of that I've done, except for the riding of the horse. That's the only thing.
Okay, so Joe Gomez, we watched the Obamacare thing, and I would think that if there's anything as controversial, or maybe even more controversial, it would be the whole concept of the wall. I'm just so skeptical that anything could get done with the wall. I mean, is there any reason to believe that Congress could move forward with building a wall on the border when they couldn't even do anything on health care?
I mean, it's a great point. I mean, I think that in the House it might be easier. They've already passed a bill with a $1.6 billion down payments on it. But you're talking ultimately about a wall that's going to be like, it's going to be like $20 billion. And then, you're going to cut through private property on this wall, and that's going to affect ranchers, eminent domain. Environmentalists are already going nuts about it. So are immigrant rights activists. So, I mean, it's going to be a big issue. You're right. And I think it's going to create a lot of problems. And if Republicans couldn't lock arms and get a repeal and replace of Obamacare, something that pretty much every Republican has talked about for the past 7 years, it seems like a lot of these other campaign promises that were made are going to be less and less likely to bear fruit.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this is something that Paul Ryan is deciding that it's time for. I really am. You'd think that you'd pick some fruit that was hanging a little bit lower than something like this. This just sounds really, really rough for him. I'll tell you, though, locally, we had President Trump appear here at Ladd Stadium, football stadium, when he was running, and then he came back after he had won on as part of his thank you tour. When he was here last, people here started chanting "Build the Wall" before he ever brought it up. That's how popular.
Really?
That's how popular the idea is in this town. People started chanting that before he even brought it up in his speech locally. So and I know that's not just here. There are still a lot of voters out there that would like to see that promise carried out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it was probably one of the most popular, I guess, elements of his agenda on the campaign was like building that wall. You know, he had a whole bit that he would do on stage with it. You know, and he would call out, you know, who's going to pay for it, and the audience would interact. It was like the greatest hits of like Bruce Springsteen, or I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like a band you're watching. I mean,
that's why
one of those things.
That's why we were chanting it here. It was like yelling "Freebird" at a concert. Build the wall, build the wall. It's a greatest hit, and so this I'm really curious about where this can go, because the House probably can pass something, but the Senate, I don't know, can anything pass the Senate?
Well, I mean, that's because it's a budgetary thing. They would only need 51 votes, so it would be dangerously close again. But it seems like everything has been close, and so Vice President Mike Pence would probably have to play the tiebreaker again if it came all the way up to, you know, passing a bill that contained money for the wall to start building the wall in the Senate.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, Joe Gomez, thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks.
That's Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, who has a lot of experience with the border. He spent a lot of his career covering the border and the different issues that have popped up. But it's I'll believe it when it happens, and I say that about anything in the Senate. House, easier to believe. Senate, hard to believe that any of the Trump agenda can make it through the Senate. All right, we are up for news headlines. News from Fox. News from Local 15's Darwin. Traffic and weather, all of that on the way as the Uncle Henry Show continues.